True ending. Okay. I did not get the true ending yet. It's still locked. I got close to it. I think I got happiness. You guys want to get the true ending real quick? I think it's pretty quick. I can do it pretty fast with the skip option. She finally emerged wearing similar clothes that looked slightly more comfortable. John wasn't sure if he was relieved or disappointed. Well, this is different. This is a little different. This is where she came at me with the axe earlier. I think it's going to happen anyway, though. She finally emerged wearing similar clothes that looked slightly more comfortable. John wasn't sure if he was relieved or disappointed. It wasn't lingerie, but he didn't mind seeing her dressed casually either. Lizzie smiled at his expression, and she sat beside him on the couch. Wish I could have worn a dress for a date, but I like this better. Dresses are nice, but they're uncomfortable, you know? Actually, I don't. Yeah, I'm just being silly. They really are uncomfortable, though. I like it when you look at me, whether I'm trying to be beautiful or not. It makes me happy. She stood closer. Oh, she's about to drug me anyway. Apparently unaware of how much her body was touching his. No, she was probably even more aware than he was. You make me happy. I'm glad I'm with you too, Lizzie. I'm so glad to hear you say that. John, I want you to stay here tonight. You with me. Together. As the night took a sharp turn, John did his best not to panic. He had not thought the date would actually go there as much in such an obsessive way. But did he have to panic? Lizzie was usually this obsessive, though he brought it up mostly in the mostly stable way. Besides, they were dating. It wouldn't be strange for him to sleep together, and yet the look in her eyes... John? Oh, man. Give me that D, girl. Let me give me that D, girls. Give me that D. That's what I said. Give me that D. Give it to me hard. Okay, I'll stay with you. Oh, John. Ooh. A moan of pure satisfaction escaped her lips. You want this, don't you? God, Lindsay, don't stop. But she did. Still, holding his face with both hands, the eyes met. He shivered as he saw an unfettered desire in her unblinking eyes. I want you, John. I want all of you, every last bit. I know you want this. Lizzie, I've never met anyone like you before, I won't lie, and say everything has been easy, but you're one of the only things that bring any color to my life. Still can't quite believe you want someone like me, but if you really do, I want you so badly. Responded with a kiss, pulled back and began tugging at her clothes. When I'm done, you'll never be able to doubt it again. Oh, Lindsay, man, I keep Lizzie, it's so close. Dream of the couch, each other. I found you. That was amazing. I remember this moment forever. Oh, shit. We didn't put a condom on or anything. You could get... Shh. She's cool with it. You don't need to worry about that. I have a IUD. A what? Doesn't matter. Wait, did you just tell me you have HPV? Did you just give me something? That means that we can't get pregnant unless we want to. Is it as good as a condom? No condoms. I needed to feel you. Feel you completely, utterly, absolutely. Jesus, man, this is getting... They were sweating sticky, and Lizzie obviously didn't care. I'd like to spend the entire vacation with you, like every single day, but maybe you want some space too? Well, that's okay, really. I'll walk you to the bus stop, of course. She didn't kidnap me. Well, let's load back here to get the actual ending. We're supposed to convince her to wait. What's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with you, girl. Come on. It's okay, I understand. I still don't want you to go. Will you stay a little longer? I won't try to force anything. I understand. If the time's not right. Let me get you some tea. Uh-oh. Did I just seriously turn down? She's gonna come after that axe now. Let me go get you some tea after turning it down. Uh-oh. Here you go, John. I brewed a cup for us. Thank you. They don't enjoy tea, but right now, mild tastes exactly what I needed. I'm glad you took this so well, if that makes sense. Of course, John wants to be together forever and ever. I wouldn't want to force anything on you before everything's ready. Well, thank you. I think later... Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I just want this to work out, too. I understand that people have hurt you. You're too kind for this word. You need my help. That's kind of you. Glad I have you with me. Depression is something that's cured, you know. It stays with you. You learn to deal with it. Sorry, I'm not... She drugged me. Wait, Lizzie, did you put something in my tea? It's okay, John. Relax. I'll take care of you. Lizzie, no, don't. Lizzie, so if I gave her the D, everything would have been okay. If I just thrown her the old D, everything will be okay, huh? Kidnapping and raping me isn't going to get what you want, Lizzie. Oh, no, I never do that to you. You were right before. It's too early for us to do that. Our first time I want to be perfect. Perfect in every way. Why am I tied to a chair? You're sick too, John. Stay here, get comfortable. Okay. And now I'm supposed to reason with her. There's a reason with her. Now I look for tools. Cupboard, be locked. Toolbox, lock it first. I just realized it's only stuck after enough effort. I got to open and look through. Random aging tools. Screwdriver, looked in good shape. Could use the escape. Okay. So I got screwdriver. And request old medication. Look for tools. Okay, to work the metal cupboard, the lock. Okay, so I use the screwdriver to open the lock. You might notice. Sorry, I'm kind of skipping through this because we've read everything else. I'm just trying to get through it. Tortillas poking at John, starting to worry to accomplish anything. No way to manage to budge the latch a little bit. Energy, jabbing it, pushing a little further. Eventually made to open the cupboard. Lizzie wasn't back yet. Everett told her to rake some mops. But they spied something, a crowbar. Nice. Not a crowbar. Hey, Lizzie. Let's see. Starting a conversation about morality. I asked her the thing about the tracks. Who are the people on the tracks? Huh? It's not supposed to matter. It's just hypothetical. Random people. No one you know. I don't pull the lever. I would leave. I had a feeling he knew this was going to say, but... Say I'm on the first track and the train's heading towards me. If the lever would make the train hit 5 other people instead, would you pull it? Yes. What if there were 10 people? The number doesn't matter to me, John. I would kill 100 people, 1,000. Then I would go to find the person who put you on that track and kill her, and the train conductor, and everyone else on the train who didn't help. If my only choice was to switch the train to hit me, I would do it. I would do anything. Lizzie, I don't want you to kill yourself for me. Oh, you're so sweet, but no, you have to survive. I want us both to be together forever. But if I can give my life to save yours, it would be worth it. How would you answer that question if a teacher asked it? One already did last year. I pretended to be flustered and said I wouldn't pull the switch. I couldn't pull the switch. So you do understand how most people view this. I'm aware of how they think, but I don't understand it. What they think really doesn't matter to me. Man, she's just cold-blooded. It's like, hey, girl, would you kill a bajillion people for me? Yes. I knew it! John made the right choice. I did that too, John, at first because I was afraid he wouldn't love the real me. But he will, eventually, I'm sure of it. That made things a little uncomfortable for the rest of the day. John hoped he did somehow get strapped to the train tracks, so Lizzie's the one nearby. Alright, let's skip ahead. At this point, I'm supposed to make something for Lizzie. She wants to hear an answer from me. This is where I kissed her and she got upset. So I'm supposed to disagree. She asked me, she said she wants an answer. I disagree. I'm sorry, but I don't agree with that. Wait, but John, I love you. Yes, but if you were convinced your love required to use a knife on me, you wouldn't do it. Oh, that's so sweet. Well, if you were afraid of me, you never would have been so honest. But even with all my weapons right here, you don't try to lie to me. Oh, John, I hope you're wrong. I would never, ever want to hurt you. But I'm so happy you said that what you really think. John swallowed uncomfortably. He wasn't sure where he had expected honesty to go, but it was better than expected. That's the John I love. I want you to accept me just like that. And you do, even though you're still worried. She wrapped her arms around his neck, still carrying the knife, and kissed him briefly on the forehead. After that, she lowered her face to his, hesitating for a moment, and then pulled back that kissing lips. Oh, you have no idea how much I how much I want to do right now. But I'll wait. I'll wait until you trust me. Man, she's just throwing it at me. Man, the true ending, she's just trying to give it to you. She's like, please take the booty. Nah, girl. You trust me enough to let me go? Soon, darling, soon. Use the crowbar to escape the shackles. John carefully received the crowbar and stood at the table and trying to remove himself enough to actually do it. Eventually decided he didn't have the choice. Come this far back down, he took a deep breath. First blow. Well, I'm breaking the chain. I thought maybe I'd like stick it under the end of the table I can't pick up. Blow after blow, bent the leg inward, making a horrible noise, motivated him to hit it harder. All right, we got out. Suddenly, unable to deal with uncertainty, John grabbed the loose chain, tripped over it, and rushed for the stairs. Yes, the door was unlocked. He stepped out into the hallway and took a deep breath. Lizzie might have locked the front door, but he could always break a window if necessary. But now that he had gotten this far, John hesitated. What now? So at this point, I gotta pee, but it says I'm supposed to stay in the basement, so I'll be right back. John set the screwdriver and crowbar on the table and then repositioned his chair directly in the center of the basement. When he heard Lizzie enter, he sat down facing the door, making sure the unhooked shackle obvious. Lizzie came down the stairs on longer, a smile on her face, then she saw him and her expression became utterly blank. Hello, Lizzie. You stayed. I didn't have to do this. This is my fault. Lizzie, calm down. Please don't get upset. But I kidnapped you and... She was stumbling towards him as he tensed when she reached behind her. But after pulling her knife from her waistband, she sat down on the table. I almost ruined the only thing I had. Sorry, John. I'm sorry. Sorry. The pain in her words was heartbreaking. Lizzie began to crumple, bending over with her back arched painfully. He moved to wrap his arms around her to keep her from curling against herself. Why are you so kind? Girl, I'm just trying to spoon, you know? Lizzie, I don't want to hurt you either. Please calm down. Why did you stay? Why? Because I trust you, Lizzie, and I would like to trust you more. But you don't have to do anything like this. I won't leave you. I just want to be happy. To smile sweetly and say I love you, and I do love you with everything I am, but there's so much of everything. It's okay, Lizzie. Let it out how you feel. I can't believe you stayed. Can't believe you're holding me. Still in his arms, Lizzie unleashed a peal after peal of insane laughter. There was an unearthly quality to it that made his skin crawl, but John just held on tighter and closed his eyes. Eventually, laughter faded, and she was still there. The tension in her body dissipated, leaving her resting against him. Oh yeah, girl. She looked up in his eyes, a sweet love there, and almost an intensity. He had never seen both of them in her at the same time, and made him shiver involuntarily, but not necessarily in fear. John loves me. Yes, I do. I won't leave you. I never thought it could be like this. This is who I am. I thought I would calm down if you loved me, but now I feel so alive. I don't know what to do with these feelings. It's okay, Lizzie. I'll stay with you and we can figure it out together. Then, please kiss me, John. He bent down and kissed her gently. She kissed back. Gently at first, then almost viciously. He tasted blood in their kiss, and he wasn't sure whose it was, but he didn't pull away. The kiss was wild and unhinged, utterly unlike any of his fumbling romance of the past. Lindsay's fingers dug into his back and she kissed. Oh my God, she's eating me. Thank you. Her eyes had softened again. He knew the intensity was lurking underneath. The peaceful he saw on the surface was no longer frightening to him. He felt like he should say something, but couldn't find the words. After a moment, he realized that Lizzie had fallen asleep. After a moment of uncertainty, he decided to carry Lizzie up the stairs. She was much lighter than he expected, and he didn't have a hard time taking her to the bed and tucking her in. Laying there, she looked almost angelic. He knew she wasn't, and honestly didn't want her to be. John realized that he had stepped over a line and there was no going back. For now, though, he felt emotionally wrung out. He went to the couch and fell asleep almost immediately. Good morning, John. She was right there watching when he woke up. He gave her a soft smile. Good morning, Lizzie. There's one more day before vacation's over. Would you like to do something? Well, I think I've spent more than enough time in here. You think we want to go somewhere? I would like that. Their date went completely normal. Lizzie seemed more relaxed than he'd ever seen her, enjoying herself, whether they walked or eating, just sitting on the bus. She cast him frequent glances, but they had held an intense devotion. Despite the edge, she was gone. Yep, had a good date. The day was finally over. They returned to the house. She didn't invite him in. Instead, they just lingered on the edge of the property. John, I don't know what to say. You don't need to say anything. We can talk about it later. Then I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Yeah, see you then. He watched her go, then turned around and walked back to the bus stop alone. The entire road back, he tried to think of his experiences, but couldn't even begin to grasp everything that happened. He didn't spot Lizzie at all, and opened his locker, discovers a folded note in the center. It said, I don't feel like murdering anyone today, surrounded by hearts. Alright. Well, that's good. Despite himself, John laughed. At least he thought she meant as a joke. Then he looked up and he saw Lizzie around the nearby corner. She smiled at him before vanishing. And at this point, I am supposed to lie about everything. This time with Lizzie was strange. At times, she was even sweeter and more devoted than before, but occasionally showed flashes of something else. Once when a classmate happened to smile at him, Lizzie explained at length about how she wanted to dismember the other girl one limb at a time. John just held her and stroked her hair. Maybe he was going crazy. Maybe he no longer minded those parts of her. He much preferred that Lizzie to one who tried to hide her true nature from him. He wasn't sure if it was his imagination, but also felt like there was a little more color in the sky than there had been before. Occasionally headed to the library. Eventually sat back and pondered how to go forward. This isn't working. I need to come up with something else. When I was at your house, you made some pretty strong statements. Nothing specific. Yeah, okay, this is the whole thing again about the, us trying to figure out what's going on. Later, if there's any chance we could learn more about you. Not to try to change you, Lizzie, but, you know, you want to know, don't you? I don't care, but if you think it's important to me too. Maybe not the best time, but we're too young to deal with something like this. It's true. I wonder if we'll ever be old enough for it. Something I want to ask you. It's not so important, but it's soon. It matters to me. Go ahead. What is it? The country fair's coming up. Can we go together? We sure can. So this is where I got laid last time. For most guys, it's more about getting laid. Well, I want to do that too. Let's go check all the attractions first. Like Lizzie's just like, I want the D. All right, boy, I want that D. And the path that I took originally was like, no D involved. No V, no D. But now it's just like, yeah. The way her eyes met with his, not trying to hide the madness then, he felt very at peace with the relationship. Was that a knife throwing booth? Well, I suppose one try it. Of course I do. So yeah, she's not trying to hide who she is now. That's what we're getting at here. She's wild and crazy. Okay, the man running the booth, sleazy. John, certainly the game was rigged. There was a big guy in front of the line, knife on the bottle, seemed pissed about it. Well. Want to impress your lady friend? We have some nice prizes to get a few knives in. Actually, she'll be throwing. Yeah, well, be careful you don't cut yourself, little lady. These knives are shit. Look, we can't have people getting hurt. This is supposed... Doesn't matter. Lizzie proceeded to hit the target with every single knife. She didn't just throw them. Her arm lashed out like a snake, and the next second the knife was deep in one of the targets. The man running the booth looked irritated that his game was beaten, but he grudgingly showed them the wall of prizes. Lizzie clapped her hands gleefully. Ooh, what should we get? You won. What do you want? How about the big old teddy bear on top? I can take anything I want, right? Just take what you want and go. He hugged the little cute little squeal and skipped. Yep, stuffed bear, really? I like taking them apart. She cast a quick glance at him, hesitated for a moment, but he smiled and they went on, as in limb from limb. It helped me calm down before I found you. Well, maybe we'd better not do that in public, but if you want to dismember bears, we can get dismemberment bears. Oh, how sweet. She just wants to murder everything. Yeah, don't hold back. Hit as hard as you can. Oh, man. Okay, this is the hit the hammer, the mallet on the thing. We're letting her do it this time instead of me do it. I don't know about that. She giggled and took the hammer. It was all the same. When the light stopped flashing, hammer in one hand and got into it. She held the hammer in one hand. When I did this, my dude was like, it's so heavy. And she had to show me how to do it. When she struck surprisingly fast, she raised the hammer, grasped it with both hands, and then somehow a second later, she already slammed it down. Hard. Slider shot upwards and struck the bell with a cracking sound before it fell back down. Oops, too hard. That's what I thought, though. Wait, do I not get anything now? I think the lights just flash and tell you you're really strong. That's really disappointing. She didn't seem disappointed, though, smiling at him, and they walked onward. We already knew she was super strong. So, you were curious about me? Just wondering how strong you actually are. I'm not sure, to be honest, but it's always been that way. As soon as I went to kindergarten and met other kids, I realized I had to slow down and pretend to be weak, or they wouldn't look at me too much. Well, that's pretty impressive. I like hammers. They're just very messy. Knives are more fun to collect and so practical. But what really feels best in my hand is an axe. I'm not sure why. This might be a conversation better left for private. Hee, okay. They walked onward just chatting and enjoying each other. John almost forgot about the fact that he was carrying a giant stuffed bear, reminded when he heard an unpleasant snicker. You fucking serious? Stuffed animals. And we did this again? Oh yeah, this is the part where I get some booty in the hallway. You have no idea how much I enjoyed that. We fit together so perfectly. It's like we were made for each other. He leaned back against the wall, needing a moment to catch his breath. That good, huh? He stood up and gave a hug before putting her bra and skirt back on. That was amazing. Maybe give me a break, though. Mischievously, and yeah. Okay, but not too long. As soon as they reached the alley, John felt everyone must have noticed, looked at them, they didn't, something wrong. This is where we find the body. Normally I would guess it was you, but no, it wasn't. I would kill anyone who got between us, anyone you wanted me to. I wasn't involved with this. So it's like all of her reactions are just more normal. It's like she's just like, it's like I'm cool with everything, and she's just like, okay, I would murder everyone, but I didn't do this. Oh man, that night he had a dream that Lizzie murdered both his classmates. He saw her standing over their torn open bodies covered in their blood. She saw him and bared her teeth with a smile, and then kissed him. And then it wasn't a bad dream. It's like I'm okay with her murdering self now. All right, we're back at school. Oh, so I didn't even get the option. Lizzie didn't even show up. Old girl took me straight to the pharmaceutical place. Cause they're trying to get me to drug Lizzie. He wasn't sure exactly what approach he was going to take, but then abruptly it didn't matter. Lizzie was in their warehouse, and she winked at him. A second later, one of the soldiers fell with a gurgling cry. Everyone's eyes were drawn to him and the knife in his eye, except for John. He looked in the other direction. Sliding up behind another soldier, Lizzie drew her axe across his throat. Damn it, take her down. We need her alive. John's just like, I'm not looking. She's about to murder everyone. I'm not looking. Unfortunately for the soldiers, Lizzie was under no such restrictions. She was enormously outnumbered, but she swept through the group, axe flashing brutally. They began using rubber bullets on her, and though some hit each other, a few managed to strike her. Lizzie slowed, faltered, and eventually they tackled her to the ground. John, she said his name only once, and they wrestled her into the chair beside him. But it broke his heart. He wished he could do something, but he was helpless against the trained soldiers. They had been cleverly concealed, but John realized that the chairs had sturdy straps along to bind someone completely in place as they pinned Lizzie to her chair. He realized they were coming for him the next second and panicked, raising his hands. No, please, I'll cooperate. Please don't hurt me. He's harmless. Stay there and shut up, John. Miss Smythe walked to stand in front of Lizzie, staring down at her like she was a repulsive insect. If I had my way, we'd have exterminated you already. But the board is apparently interested in what we might learn from you, given your performance just now. It seems they were right. What are you going to do to her? Is this some kind of super soldier program? To his surprise, Miss Smythe laughed loudly and apparently authentically. Don't be absurd, boy. Even if this thing wasn't ridiculous, do you have any idea how destabilizing it would be? As she spoke, she put on a new pair of surgical gloves and opened the second metal case. Filled with clear syringes, Miss Smythe glanced at one calmly, squirting a bit of liquid out of the head. In any case, it appears the girl's condition is a freak accident. A combination of genetics and a chance that's not like to be repeated. The other girl displayed very different characteristics after all. No, Koitek is interested in safe, stable projects, which we may be able to extract from this girl if we can just figure out all the details of her case. Don't hurt her, please. If she cooperates, we won't. Are you going to cooperate, Lizzie? That is what I was afraid of. Let's see if this will change your mind. Miss Smythe jabbed the needle in Lindsay's arm. She hissed and tried to break her bonds, but they stayed firm. Now are you feeling more cooperative? Lizzie shot a glare of pure malice. Miss Smythe waited for a while, then frowned. Ineffective, as I'd feared. Well, this is why we brought alternatives. Hold him. Too late, John realized they were referring to him. Some of the remaining soldiers held him in place, and Mrs. Smythe approached and jacked him with a second syringe. Ooh, I'm high! I'm so high right now. Instantly, his head was filled with pitch black fog. With it came the pain of lethargy, rendering him nearly comatose in his chair. It took everything he had to focus through the fog. Stop it. You see, the fixation on this boy is part of her insanity. I told you we could use him. Is she going to cooperate? Well, girl, will you? John wanted to tell her to not give in, but his jaw didn't seem to work. He couldn't even twitch when Mrs. Smythe came closer and injected him with something else. This one took away the pain, but the world began spinning violently around him. Black fog in his mind swirled together around him, and he could feel himself being dragged down into an uncomprehending haze. Staying focused on reality was becoming difficult. Ghosts of everyone spiraling out of their bodies. Stop, you're killing him. No, I have no intention of doing that. This will already be enough of a mess. We can't afford any more legal conflicts. But with enough of these, I can make him completely compliant. He'll say anything we want him to say, and everything that he is will cease to be. The words sent a wave of cold horror spiraling into a whirlwind around him, but it made Lizzie give a sobbing cry. That's wrong. It's not gave, it's give. As everything faded away, the last thing he heard was her desperate plea. No. Please, no. Before he could hear anything else, John lost his grip on reality. He tumbled down into a maelstrom of chemicals and emotions and chaos. It felt like he fell forever. And then suddenly it all stopped. It was as if he stood in the eye of a hurricane, swirling chaos all around him. But for a moment, perfectly still. And in that moment, he saw a fever dream of fracturing time. In that moment, he knew that if he gave in, they would die. If Lizzie gave them what they wanted, they would die. Everywhere he turned, death. He knew he was probably hallucinating, but he still searched for some part that didn't end in death. Yet he found nothing. His mind grew lighter, and he could feel himself coming out of the stillness back through the chaos. He knew that unless he used this moment of clarity to do something, he would be lost. But what? There was death on every side, and even outside this hallucination. What could he possibly do? He was weak. Lizzie was trapped. The enemy was all around him. Then one death stood out to him. He caught only insane flashes of things he couldn't understand. A glimpse of a willow tree, and then death. But unlike all the other points of light dancing in his vision that he was sure were hallucinations, this one felt real, heavy. It was death, but not death like this. He had no idea what that meant, but this was probably all his mind breaking apart, but he still lunged for that final death, and came back to himself, reeling but somehow standing. His world was cloaked in dark fog, but he could see enough. Everything he had seen moments before seemed like madness to him, but abruptly he realized what he needed to do. Not even thinking about it, he lunged away from the soldiers towards the table, grabbed the red syringe, and plunged it into Lizzie's shoulder. Okay, why her? Am I about to pump her full of super juice? They wrestled him away the next second. Even the soldiers taken back at what he had moved like that. Somebody stared back at him in shock. Are you insane? Maybe you are. Maybe part of my mistake was thinking you were normal in the first place. Well, I'll fix that mistake soon. That chemical is valuable. You're going to regret wasting it. Not as much as she was going to regret ignoring Lizzie. As the chemical pumped through her body, Lizzie became strangely calm. Her eyes were glassy and empty. Does that mean she was sedated? Eyes blank, she calmly tore through her restraints and rose to her feet. Ooh, I just gave her that superpower. What? How is she? Lizzie dissolved into a stream of erratic movements, almost faster than the eye could follow, slumping back into his chair. John could only watch. She smashed one soldier's head to the ground, and something gave a sickening crack. While the others were still recoiling, Lizzie lunged the next one and tore out his throat with her teeth. Jesus. They were all panicking, trying to react to her moving even faster than before. It was too late. Lizzie had picked up her axe. Watching her, John couldn't help but feel that she was strangely beautiful. Her erratic movements smoothed out, becoming a deadly dance that sent sprays of blood away from her almost elegantly. Through it all, she laughed. Yet it wasn't a laugh of desperation. It was a savage joy there that he was happy to hear. Would it possess him to inject her with a chemical? Thinking about it now, it seemed like an act of madness. But on some level, he had been certain that her body hadn't rejected the drug. It had adapted, absorbed it, become stronger. And so the second dose had multiplied the effect. Soon all the soldiers were dead. Miss Smythe stared in horror, and managed to pull herself back together. It's enough! Do you realize he's seeing all this? Your little fetish is going to... Her head tumbled from her shoulders. Alright, freaking Captain America over here. Super soldier serum. John blinked in surprise as he realized that Lizzie had literally decapitated the woman with her axe in a single blow. And then Lizzie was still. The blood slowly dripped down her body. She stood not too far away from him, axe held loosely, laughter gone, just standing, watching him. He realized that through the chemical had increased her strength, it had no doubt magnified her mental instability as well. He couldn't know what she was thinking, but he could see turmoil in her eyes. All John wanted to do was lie down and sleep. Maybe let her kill him. It didn't matter. He had pushed himself too far to care. And yet he saw pain in her eyes, and he remembered how many times he had felt the same way and wished that anyone would help him. Somehow through the pain and dizziness and grayness consuming him, John stood up. He took several uneven steps over to Lizzie and wrapped his arms around her and held her close. She was still for a moment, then gripped him back so tightly it was almost painful, and with her axe dangerously close to his head. But he didn't let go. John wasn't sure how long they stayed like that. Gradually he seemed to come back to himself, the chemical mess he had been injected with fading away and leaving him with nothing but his own depression. And that was his. He knew with heavy certainty there was no conspiracy there, no easy solution, but something he would live with. Well, he wouldn't live with it alone. Lizzie shifted in his arms, raising her face up to kiss him. Sometime later, they both parted. He felt heavy, but he could move. Something vicious still lurked in Lizzie's eyes, but it was the viciousness he had come to love. You okay, John? You asking me that? I'm fine. Whatever they did to me wasn't permanent. Whatever they did to me was... I feel... I can't describe it. Do you hate me? You see what I really am now. I'll never be normal. I don't want you to be. John, please tell me you love me. I love you, Lizzie. I always will. Yes. I love you so much. I would slaughter every single person in this world just to be with you a second longer. Well, let's hope you can get a better rate than 1 second for total genocide. Lizzie gave a brief little laugh. She sounded almost normal for a moment. Then that single moment helped both of them return to themselves a little. This really is a mess. We'll have to leave. If we stay here too long, they'll find us. Is there any hope? I think they contacted Koitek headquarters about us. No, they didn't. I destroyed their communication systems first. She gave him an odd grin, a mix of nervousness and vicious satisfaction. I wanted to come after you right away, throw myself at them until they were all dead, and you were safe. But then I remember all my time with you. I want to be with you forever, John. We have to make that happen. But how? All of this? It'll hurt them too. They're already government scrutiny, and the way they work with local police is definitely corrupt. They can't afford to push on this. But they wouldn't forgive us for this. Well, then we'll just have to make sure they never find out, won't we? She smiled and he smiled back. Lizzie extended her hand, still covered in blood, and they held hands while they set up about cleaning up the bodies. And that is the official ending. The true end. Oh, here we go. We got some more. ... John, are you still with me? Yeah, just thinking about everything that happened when we met. Ah, yes, so much emotion. But it was like living in a movie, wasn't it? I'd never seen you kill that many people before. Oh, you're thinking about the time you injected me. Always such a romantic. When we first met, you said you found me. It wasn't only that. I found you. If I hadn't, I don't know if I would have survived. I certainly would never have discovered all this. We're surrounded by so much beauty, aren't we? Yes, I never imagined that a singular focus could expand so much. But now I'm glad we're alone, John. I made the right choice with you. My world was so gray, and now, so glad I found you. Lizzie, do I need to say it? No, I already know. You can say it one more time if you want. True ending. And that's it. That is it. I liked my happy ending better. Like when the one we just left and just spent our lives together. That one I felt like she was kind of ruined. You know, like I made her worse. But maybe it's okay. I don't know. Maybe it's no big deal.